Welcome to Jakey 411. So the NFL released the 32 NFL teams of their schedule, and then today I would like to talk about this Raiders Raiders 2025 season. And then also, I'm going to have a guest come on and we're going to give our prediction and we're going to see what we think the Raiders are going to be this year and their record. First question I have is okay. So the Raiders in their first game and they're going to play us on the road against New England Patriots. What do you think about that game? Yeah, and then how are the Raiders gonna play that game? And then what do you think is their predictions and all of that?
Oh, I think we're gonna come out and we're gonna win that game on the road. I think our offense is better. I think our defense is better. I think we're gonna give Drake May a hard time. I think Gentry's gonna have an amazing first game and he's gonna get his first touchdown or a win.
Yeah, that's a good point you brought up too. Our offense gonna be better because the Raiders drafted two wide receivers and they added offensive linemen. They added a new running back, but then I do predict it's gonna be 24-17 and the Raiders get their first win at home. So the next game, and the Raiders gonna come home, and we're gonna play against is L.A. Chargers, and it's gonna be a Monday night game. It's gonna be a close game, but I do believe the Raiders gonna come in and they're gonna win that game. It's gonna be 21-17, and the Raiders win that game just by a touchdown. It's gonna be a close game. Why? Because the Chargers got a quarterback. His name is Justin Herbert, and he's a real good quarterback. So then during the game, and there's gonna be moments when the Raiders gonna have to keep an eye on him. Why? Because he got a really good arm. He's very mobile. He knows how to get out of the pocket. So that's why I think it's gonna be a close game. And okay, so the next question I have is and then and the Raiders gonna go on the road. They're gonna play against the Washington Commanders. So then, uh, so then, so then, so then, do you think the Raiders gonna win that game?
I think this will be our first loss of the season. I think Jaden Daniels will be too much and Washington's defense has improved from last year and I think we're gonna drop this one.
Yeah, okay. That's actually a good point you brought out too, where they got a young quarterback and they got improved defense. But then, what do you predict the score is going to be?
I think it'll be the shootout actually. I think it'll be 34-31. I think we'll barely lose.
Okay. So the next game, the Raiders come back home and they come back home and they play against the Chicago Bears. I do actually think the Raiders defense will actually help us win the game on Sunday. So 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 it's gonna be a good game, and the Chicago Bears gonna have offense where they're gonna be improved, but the Raiders just got too many talented players on defense. We got Malcolm Coons, we got Crosby, and we got linebackers. We got different players where they're gonna utilize and they're gonna just dominate. And then I do predict it's gonna be uh 27-20, and the Raiders win that game. And the Raiders offense gonna be too much for the Chicago Bears defense to be able to handle. Why? Why? Because we got Brock Bowers, and then we got like the new running back, and then we got and we got so many different wide receivers on the team, and the Raiders and the Chicago Bears defense will not be able to keep up because we got so many talented players on that team where they could throw the football to, and we could do so many different plays. So far our record is 3-1. So the Raiders are starting off really good this season. That is really good. So then the next one I'm gonna ask you is the Raiders gonna play at home and they're gonna play against Indianapolis Colts. Are they gonna win that game? What are your thoughts?
So we're starting off hot, and we might slow down, but not in this game. I think we're going to take out the Colts pretty easily. I think their quarterback situation is pretty bad, and our defense is going to give them a really hard time. And I don't think they could control our offense. We have too many weapons now with Genty and Brock Bowers, and now we have Geno Smith throwing the ball. I think we win 21-10 this one.
Yeah, that is a good point too. And the Raiders are going to go on the road and play against Indianapolis, and the Raiders should be able to win that game. Why? Because our defense going to be able to stop Indianapolis Colts on offense, and then also too in their quarterback situation. I'm not sure who's going to be their starting quarterback. I'm not sure who they're going to utilize or anything like that. So the Raiders should be able to come in and often and just dominate as well. So we should be able to put points out there. So we're gonna get that next win. Now we're 4-1, and we're starting off this season really, really good. Okay, so the next one is play we play against the Tennessee Titans and we come back home. So then I do actually think we're gonna win that game because of our defense. Because we got Max Crosby, we got Malcolm Coons, and we got just a solid defense where they make sure they add depth to the team and the defense. So I believe it's gonna be 47-14, and the Raiders win that game at home. So we're gonna be 5-1. Okay, so the next one I'd like to ask you is okay. So then we're gonna go on the road, and they're gonna play against the Chiefs. Are we gonna win that game? What are your thoughts?
I think this is where we finally take another loss. I think the Chiefs, I think they will regress this year and they'll take a step back, but I do think we lose this game. There are bitter rivals. It's going to be very close, though. We always keep it close. I think it'll be 27-24, but we do drop this one before our bye week.
Okay. Okay. So I do actually agree. And the Raiders defense gonna play their hardest out there. They're gonna put a lot of effort out there. But the only thing is, I, I do not believe the Raiders will be able to keep up with Patrick Mahomes. Like if they want to sack him or they try to, he can just get rid of that football quickly. So it's gonna be hard to keep up with him. So the Raiders take a L. So we are 4-2 right now. We're starting off really good in the bye week. That is awesome. Okay, so the Raiders go on a bye week and they get a week off. That's awesome. But then the next team we're gonna play against is the Jacksonville Jaguars. I do actually think the Raiders will actually win that game. Why? Because the Raiders just got too many talented players and they have on the team. I will give you an example. Like we got Max Crosby, we got Malcolm Coons, we got Kristen Wilkins, and then we got like so many different offensive players. where the Jacksonville Jaguars will not be able to keep up with the Raiders. So then I do actually believe we're actually gonna blow out the Jacksonville Jaguars in this game. It's gonna be 30-14, and it's gonna be easy win. Okay, so the next one I'd like to ask you is: are the Raiders gonna beat the Broncos on the Thursday night football? What what are your thoughts?
As much as I hate the Broncos, I think they're gonna have the best defense in the league this year, and I think it'll still be a relatively close game, but I think they do win this one on prime time. I think it'll be a low scoring game, probably about 21-14.
Okay, okay, and then yeah, okay. Uh, so didn't you say the Raiders gonna win this game, or the Broncos gonna win this game?
Oh, I think the Broncos will win this game, but I do think later down the schedule we will split the series.
Okay, okay. So the Raiders right now, and they're 5-2. So the next game, the Raiders gonna play the Cowboys at home on a Monday night game. It's going to be a very, very close game. Why? Because the Cowboys has a good team, and 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 they got like a Dink Prescott, and they got CP Lamb, and they got Pickens, and they got good pieces there. But then the question I have is, will the Raider defense be able to keep up with those players? I'm not sure if their cornerbacks going to be able to keep up or their safeties, but then I am 100% confident. I know for certainty Max Crosby and Coons will be able to get after Dak Prescott, but I'm not sure if the defense will be able to hold them. So then I do actually see us taking a loss for this game. It's gonna be a close game, and it's gonna be 17-14, and we lose by a field goal. So the Raiders go 5-3 on this one. Oh, okay, so then the Raiders play at home again, and they play against the Cleveland Browns. What are your thoughts about the Raiders playing against Cleveland Browns? Are we gonna get the W? What are your thoughts?
Oh, I think we absolutely demolished the Browns here. We beat them pretty badly. I think they're gonna score not even a touchdown this game. I think it's gonna be 6-14.
Okay, that's a good point you brought up too. It's gonna be an easy W for the Raiders. One of the reasons is I'm not sure who's going to be the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, and they have the most crowded QB room in the NFL. So then I'm not sure if Deion Sanders' son gonna be their quarterback. I'm not sure if Joe Flacco gonna be their quarterback. I'm not sure if they're gonna go and Dizon Watson. I'm not sure if they're gonna use him, and they got other quarterbacks too on their team, so I'm not sure. So the Raiders should be able to come in and just dominate that game, and then our defense can just dominate, and then not just our defense can dominate, but one of the keys I want to bring out to it, our defensive end can be way too much for the Raiders to be able to handle uh, to be able to handle. Cleveland Browns will not be able to keep up with our defensive men, our defensive linemen. So that's why we're gonna get the easy W. So far, the record is 6-3. Okay, so the next question I have is, are the Raiders gonna beat the Chargers? Chargers at Chargers at home? What do you think?
I do think we split the series with the Chargers, so I do think they win this one. I think it'll be fairly close. I think we'll keep it close this game, but I think our offense just has a slow game, and their defense really takes control here. So I think it'll be close, but we will drop this one. So I think it'll be 24-21, and we will lose this game.
Okay. Okay, so that is a good point too. And the Raiders offense gonna and they're gonna be struggling this game. Why? Because the Chargers defense gonna be they're gonna be dominant. They're gonna do everything they can to stop the Raiders offense. So and then our record is 6-4. And we go 6-4. Okay. So the Raiders play at home against the Broncos, and then I do actually think we will win this game, but it's gonna be a super super close game. Why am I saying that? Because the Broncos and probably have one of the best defense out there, where they're just dominating so much. But then I do believe 100% the Raiders will win the game, and we will win by a field goal. So it's gonna be 21-24, and we just win that game just by a field goal. It's gonna come down to the fourth quarter, where there's only like 3 minutes left of the game, and we need a field goal to win this game. So it's gonna be a close matchup. So we're gonna be 7-4 right now. Now the Raiders go on the road and they play against the Philadelphia Eagles. So the next question I have is, are the Raiders gonna beat the Philadelphia Eagles, or are we gonna lose the game? What are your thoughts?
I do think we will lose this game against the former Super Bowl champions. I do think we're not going to be able to contain Saquon Barkley. I think their defense is probably one of the best in the league, and they're going to be able to slow down our offense. But I do think Genty will still have a great game. But we will drop this one. We won't really have a close game against them too. I think this one will be about 30-14.
Yeah, that is a good point about that too. Where they got Saquon Barkley, and they got Brown on their team too, where he's a really good wide receiver, so he's gonna dominate as well. So the Raiders are gonna be 7-4. So okay. So the next game we have is it's gonna be the we're gonna be at home playing against the Houston Texans. That should be an easy one right there, because the Raider defense gonna be the player of the game. Why I'm saying that? Because our defense gonna win us the game, but I do believe we're gonna get that W at home against Houston, and the score is gonna be 17-14. It's gonna be a close game, where where the Houston Texans offense they're gonna do different plays, like trick plays. They're gonna try to do everything they can to be able to try to win that game. But the Raider defense and they're gonna get the interception in the fourth quarter, and then that's gonna be the key, where the Raiders are able to kick a field goal after the last 2 or 3 minutes of the game, and we kick the field goal, and when we win that game. So our record is 8-4 right now. And the Raiders are playing really well, and they only lost 4 games. So the next one is, are the Raiders going to beat the New York Giants? What are your thoughts on that?
I was muted. I said that I think this will be a pretty easy game. I think we take care of the New York Giants. They have a pretty bad quarterback situation. I think we could very easily stop their offense. They do have a good defense, but I think we will overpower them. I think Genty goes for 100 plus yards. I think Gino has a good game too. I think this one won't relatively be close. I think it'll be about 30-9, and Raiders win.
Okay, okay, thanks for sharing. So I do appreciate you brought up too how the Giants can have a good defense, but the offense gonna be struggling against the Raider defense. That's a good point. Because I'm not sure who's gonna be the starting quarterback, who's gonna be their who's going to be the starting running back. I'm not sure how the offense playbook can pan out, how it's going to work out. So it should be easy to win for the Raiders. Okay, I'm gonna ask you one more question. So the last game of the season and the Raiders play against is the Kansas City Chiefs. Are they gonna get that win of their last game of the season? What are your thoughts?
I think absolutely. I think we take care of the Chiefs this time around. We finally get our revenge. After not beating them at all last season, after not beating them earlier in the season, I think we finally take care of business and beat the Chiefs. I think it'll be 24-17.
Yeah, that is another good point you brought up too. It's gonna be a close matchup. The offense gonna Kansas City Chiefs offense gonna and they're gonna do different trick plays. They're gonna try to put as many points as they can. But I am confident in the Raiders defense where they're gonna be able to stop Kansas City, but not just stop Kansas City offense, but then I I am actually 1,000% confident in their defensive linemen. We're gonna work, and they're gonna make Patrick Mahomes like move out of their pocket. They're gonna try to get as many sacks as they can. Matt Crosby gonna be a beast out there. Malcolm Coon's gonna go out there and sack the quarterback, and then we got Christian Wilkins, where he's gonna be a tackling machine, where he's gonna get after the running back. He's gonna put a lot of pressure on quarterback, and there's many other players they're gonna utilize where they're gonna put pressure on that quarterback as well. So the record this year I do actually predict, and then also too, and then my cousin also predicted too. And we're gonna have a winning season. We're gonna win 11 games, and we're gonna lose 4 games. And the Raiders will make it to the playoffs this year. Yay! Let's go
Hey,
Raiders!
let's go Raiders.
Thanks for coming on the show.
Oh, am I on? Okay, cut that part out. But uh, start at this part. Jakey,
You are welcome, and then you have a great and awesome day.
you too. Thank you.